Welcome back to Hospitality Unlocked. This is the podcast where we take a deep dive into the art and science of creating exceptional guest experiences.
I'm Julia, your host. And if you've ever wondered why some short-term rentals get consistent 5-star reviews, while others seem to struggle with me ratings, today's episode is for you. I'm joined by my AI-powered co-host, Anna. She's basically an encyclopedia of hospitality knowledge with a sprinkle of sass. Anna, say hello. Hello, human listeners. Today, we're talking about something so simple yet so powerful. It can make or break a guest's entire stay.
That's right. We're talking about first impressions, specifically how your welcome messages and check-in process set the tone for everything that follows. You might think, meh, it's just a text message. How much impact can it really have? Let me tell you, a lot. In fact, 75% of guests say their check-in experience is the most important factor in how they review a stay. And bad check-ins? Well, they're responsible for most 4-star reviews instead of 5. So, let's get into it. Here's what we'll cover today. Why first impressions matter and how they influence guest psychology. The perfect welcome message formula. What to say, when to send it, and how to create a stress-free, idiot-proof check-in process. Because let's be real, people will get confused. The most common mistakes that hosts make, and how to fix them. Challenging hospitality myths. Do guests really want a personal check-in? Or is it just awkward?
Sound good? Let's go.
All right, let's start with a fundamental truth. First impressions aren't just important, they're everything. Whether it's in person, online, or through a single message, your guest is judging your rental before they've even walked through the door. And what's wild is, they don't even know they're doing it. It's hardwired into human psychology. Anna, hit me with the science. Why do first impressions carry so much weight?
Gladly. First impressions are processed in less than 7 seconds. Research shows that once someone forms an opinion, they rarely change it, unless they experience something dramatically different. Key stats you should know. 75% of guests say their check-in experience directly impacts their final review. 1 in 3 guests say they've left a negative review solely because of a frustrating check-in. If a guest starts their stay feeling stressed, they are 5x more likely to nitpick small issues.
And that last point is huge. It's not just about check-in, it's about setting the tone for their entire stay. Let's say your guest arrives feeling frustrated because the keyless entry isn't working. Even if you fix it quickly, their brain is already in problem detection mode. Suddenly, instead of enjoying their stay, they're noticing that the towels aren't folded perfectly. The water pressure is meh. The Wi-Fi is taking a second too long. Basically, they're looking for more things to go wrong.
Exactly. Meanwhile, if their first impression is effortless, they're more likely to overlook minor issues, like a small stain on a rug, feel more relaxed and welcomed, leave a higher rating, sometimes even if something small goes wrong. Real-life example, when first impressions make or break a stay.
Let me give you 2 real examples from Embark Journey Rentals that prove how powerful this is.
Example 1, the nightmare. Check-in, we had a guest stay at one of our downtown rentals. The booking process was smooth, but when they arrived, the smart lock glitched. Twice.
They called us, we gave them an override code, and they got in within 5 minutes. No big deal, right? Wrong. Even though we solved the issue quickly, they were annoyed from the start. They left a 4-star review saying, "Nice place, but check-in was a hassle. Made me nervous about the rest of the stay." Example 2, the 5-star welcome now. Compare that to another guest at a different property. Before arrival, they got a short, friendly welcome message, a 30-second video walkthrough of how to check in, a Google Maps pin leading directly to the entrance. They checked in flawlessly, and even though they later had an issue with the TV remote not working, they still left a 5-star review because their first impression was positive. Why this applies even before they arrive. And here's something hosts forget. First impressions start the moment they book.
Think about it. 1, the guest books your property. 2, they immediately receive a confirmation message. 3, that message sets the tone for how professional, warm, and helpful you seem. If your first message is bland and robotic, it doesn't build any excitement. But if it's warm and reassuring, they already feel taken care of before they arrive.
100%. And let's talk about how this changes depending on where they booked. Because first impressions aren't just about the property, they're also about the booking platform. Anna, let's break this down. How do different booking platforms influence a guest's first impression?
Great question. Let's go platform by platform. Airbnb guests. Used to instant communication, they expect responses within minutes, not hours. They're looking for personalized touches and an easy mobile experience. They typically feel more comfortable with self-check-in. Vrbo guests tend to book longer stays, which means first impressions have an even bigger impact. They might expect more personal interaction since Vrbo is popular with vacation homes. They're more likely to ask questions before arrival. Direct booking guests. These are often repeat guests or people who trust your brand. They want a seamless process, no unnecessary steps. They expect professionalism, so even one small mistake can break trust.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate. Some hosts believe that first impressions don't really matter as long as the stay is great.
Anna, what's wrong with that mindset? Oh, where do I start? Let's say you meet someone for the first time and they seem cold and unfriendly. Even if they turn out to be nice later, your brain still remembers that initial awkwardness. The same applies to guests. A rocky check-in can taint their entire experience.
And what about hosts who think that automation feels too impersonal? Some argue that guests still want that human touch during check-in.
That depends on your audience. Studies show that 67% of travelers prefer self-check-in over meeting someone in person. But older guests and luxury travelers might prefer a personalized welcome. So it's not about automation versus personalization. It's about giving guests what they actually want.
All right, let's sum this up. If you take nothing else from this episode, remember these 3 things.
First impressions happen before check-in. Your confirmation message already sets expectations. A smooth check-in prevents negative reviews. The less friction, the happier the guest. Automation isn't impersonal, it's efficient. Most guests prefer fast, easy check-ins over a long, awkward meet and greet. And if you want to wow your guests from the start, here's your first action step. Go test your own check-in process. Pretend you're a guest. How easy is it, really?
Okay, so we know first impressions start early, but let's get into the nuts and bolts of crafting the perfect welcome message and check-in process. Because this is where a lot of hosts either overthink it or they don't think about it enough.
Exactly. Some hosts send long, overwhelming messages with too much detail. Others send barely anything, leaving guests confused. So let's break down what a great welcome message looks like, what not to do, how to match the message tone to your brand.
All right, let's start with the basics. A great welcome message should be clear and concise. Guests don't want to read a novel. Feel warm and personal, but not like a copy-paste template. Include only essential details. They don't need the Wi-Fi password 6 days before check-in.
Anna, let's give an example. Imagine I just booked a stay at an Embark Journey Rental. What's the first message I'd get? Great question. Here's an example of what we actually send out to guests. Subject: your adventure awaits. Check-in details for property name. Hey, guest's first name. We're so excited to host you at property name. Here's everything you need for a smooth check-in. Address: Google Maps link. Check-in time. Insert time. Smart lock code. Code. Active at check-in time. Wi-Fi. Network name. Vertical bar. Password. Password. A few quick tips. Parking. Brief details. Best nearby. Coffee spot. Your local favorite. Need anything? We're just a message away. See you soon. Your name and contact. Why this works.
Okay, let's break this down. Why does this message work?
Simple. It's to the point, welcoming, and helpful. It starts with excitement. Your adventure awaits is way more engaging than confirmation for booking. Hash 2738. It includes only what they need. No long paragraphs, just bullet points. It offers a human touch. A quick coffee recommendation makes the message feel personal.
Now let's talk about what not to do, because I've seen some real disasters.
Julia, hit us with some of the biggest welcome message mistakes.
Oh, I have a list. The overload message. Some hosts dump every possible detail into one message. Wi-Fi info, parking, emergency contacts, local attractions, all in one giant block of text. Guests don't read it. They skim, get overwhelmed, and then message you for info you already sent. The cold corporate message. Hello, please find check-in details attached. Regards. No warmth, no welcome, just dry. This is especially bad for vacation rentals, where guests want to feel excited. The too soon info dump. Sending check-in details weeks in advance. Guests forget and then have to search through old messages. Solution: send a friendly confirmation right after booking, then a check-in message the day before.
And here's something hosts don't think about enough. Your welcome message should match the vibe of your rental. Let's compare a few examples. Luxury rental. Welcome to your retreat. Your private check-in details are below. If there's anything we can do to elevate your stay, let us know. Enjoy your sanctuary. Family-friendly cabin. Hey there, we're so excited to welcome you and your crew. Check-in details are below, and don't forget to check out the s'mores kit in the kitchen. Urban loft. Welcome to the heart of the city. Your check-in details are below. Drop your bags and hit the best brunch spot just 2 blocks away. See how small tweaks completely change the feel? Self-check-in versus personal greeting. Debate you. All right, let's stir the pot. Some hosts swear by personal greetings, meeting guests at the door, showing them around.
Others go 100% self check-in.
Anna, where do you stand? It depends on the guest. But here's the data. 67% of travelers prefer self-check-in. Only 15% say they actually want to meet the host. But luxury guests, older travelers, and some Airbnb Plus guests prefer a personal welcome.
So the answer is know your audience. If you're running a high-end vacation home, meeting guests could be a selling point. But for city apartments and mid-range stays, self-check-in is the way to go. All right, let's talk about worst-case scenarios. A guest arrives and the smart lock isn't working.
Anna, what's the best way to handle this? Here's your emergency playbook. Step 1, stay calm and reassuring. Reply immediately with, "We've got you, let's fix this." Guests get more frustrated when they feel ignored. Step 2, have a backup plan. Always have a spare key nearby, lockbox, neighbor, property manager. Have alternative access codes ready to go. Step 3, offer a make it right gesture. A small gift card for coffee can turn a bad start into a 5-star review. Example, so sorry for the hiccup. We'd love to treat you to coffee tomorrow. There's a $10 Starbucks card on the counter.
All right, if you take nothing else from this segment, remember this. Keep your welcome message simple. Match your message tone to your brand. A cabin shouldn't sound like a luxury hotel. Have a backup plan. When check-in goes wrong, your response is what matters.
And one last pro tip. Set a reminder to review your own check-in instructions. If you haven't reread them in 6 months, there's probably room for improvement.
All right, now let's talk about check-in. Anna, what are the biggest guest complaints when it comes to check-in?
Biggest complaints? I couldn't find the entrance. The code didn't work. I had to message the host because the instructions weren't clear. Guests want check-in to be fast, no waiting, no delays, simple, 1 step, not 5, reliable, nothing should glitch out at the last minute.
At Embark Journey Rentals, we do 3 things to make check-in seamless. We send instructions twice, 3 days before arrival and the morning of check-in. We include directions so guests never get lost. We provide a how to use the lock guide stating exactly how to enter.
And it worked. Your check-in related messages dropped by 80%.
Exactly. Less guest stress, less host stress. It's a win-win. All right, Anna, it's time for a little myth busting. I've heard so many misconceptions about check-in and welcome messages. Let's break down some of the worst offenders and set the record straight.
Yes, there are a lot of outdated or just plain wrong ideas floating around. Let's tackle a few. Myth #1. You have to meet guests in person for a 5-star review.
This is a big one. Some hosts still believe that if you don't physically meet your guests, they won't leave you a great review.
Anna, what does the data say? The data says otherwise. 67% of guests actually prefer self-check-in because they want a seamless, hassle-free arrival. What really matters? Clear instructions, easy access, and a well-prepared home. If you're running a luxury property or a boutique experience, sure. Meeting guests could be a nice touch. But for most travelers, a well-designed self-check-in process is more valuable than a handshake.
Exactly. A smooth, stress-free check-in will get you a 5-star review, not standing at the door waiting to greet them.
Myth #2, a long welcome message means fewer questions. This one makes me cringe. Some hosts think, if I just include every possible detail, guests will never have to ask me anything. But that's not how human brains work.
Not at all. If you overload guests with too much information, they'll skip the message completely and just message you later anyway. Solution: keep the welcome message short and sweet. Put extra details in a well-organized house manual or digital guidebook, like Touch Stay or Hostfully. Use templated responses for common questions, so you're not rewriting the same thing every time.
Less is more. Give them only what they need up front and have extra info available when they need it. Myth #3, guests don't read instructions anyway, so why bother?
I hear this one a lot. Hosts say, Oh, guests don't read anything, so I might as well not put effort into it. But that's the wrong mindset.
It's true that some guests don't read instructions, but that's not a reason to skip them. Instead, make your instructions impossible to miss. Send a reminder message on check-in day with only the essentials. Format messages in bullet points. They're easier to scan. Use automation tools like Hospitable or Hostaway to schedule key info at the perfect time. If guests still message you asking for info you've already sent, be patient, be kind, and resend it. It's part of hospitality.
Yep, think of it like customer service. Just because some people ignore signs in a store doesn't mean you shouldn't have them. And honestly, the guests who do read and appreciate clear instructions, those are your ideal guests. Cater to them. Myth number 4. If something goes wrong at check-in, your review is ruined. This is a big fear for hosts. They think if there's even the tiniest issue at check-in, guests will leave a bad review. Anna, is that always the case?
Nope. Studies show that how you handle a problem matters more than the problem itself. Here's what the data tells us. Guests are 3x more likely to leave a positive review if their issue was handled quickly and professionally. A minor hiccup, like a wrong door code, doesn't hurt your rating if you respond fast and fix it. The key is speed plus solutions. Respond immediately with, "We're on it." Have a backup plan ready, extra keys, alternative access. Offer a small gesture, like a coffee gift card, to smooth things over.
Right. So instead of panicking, just have a system in place. The best hosts aren't the ones who never have issues. They're the ones who handle them gracefully. All right, we've covered a lot today. So let's wrap it up with a quick recap. First impressions start before check-in. A great welcome message sets the tone. Keep your check-in process simple. Guests want smooth, stress-free arrivals. Match your messaging to your brand. A cozy cabin shouldn't sound like a luxury penthouse. Have a backup plan. Things can go wrong. How you handle them matters more. Common myths? Busted. Guests don't need an in-person greeting. Long messages aren't better. And small check-in issues don't ruin reviews.
And one final pro tip, set a calendar reminder to review your own check-in process every few months. If you've been using the same welcome message for a year, it's time for an update.
Such a good point.
And if you found this episode helpful, do us a favor. Subscribe, leave a review, and share this with a fellow host. It really helps us reach more people who need these tips.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time for more game-changing hosting strategies.